Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Saquon Barkley. When you talk about these names in the NFL, you think about a pretty solid group of playmakers on any offense that should be able to produce big time numbers and create an offense that would be close to or around top 10 in the NFL in terms of yardage, touchdowns, and points scored. That was not the case for the New York Giants in 2021. And yes, Wan'Dale Robinson was not on the roster, but he's another guy being added to a team with a bunch of very, very good playmakers. But the problem is, will they A, be able to produce, and B, will they be able to stay on the field for a consistent amount of games to help out their quarterback, Daniel Jones? What's going on, everybody? This is NYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm here to make a quick little breakdown on arguably one of the biggest strengths on the New York Giants, but at the same time one of the biggest question marks and weaknesses on the New York Giants, and that is the Giants wide receiver grouping for the 2022 team. And I am, in a way, looping in Saquon Barkley because I believe he's going to be a big part of this passing game as well. Now, the New York Giants went into 2021 after signing Kenny Galladay to a 4-year, $72 million deal, and after drafting Kadarius Toney in the first round at pick number 20 in the 2021 NFL Draft, coupled with the returning Sterling Shepard, who has been with the team going into his 7th season this year, and Darius Slayton, who is also on the team and has been here, is going into his 4th season with the New York Giants in 2022. You figure with those 4 guys, coupled with a Saquon Barkley and what he could bring on the field, coming off an ACL tear, that the 2021 New York Giants would have been a more explosive offense, but that was not the case. It was just injuries galore, underperforming, bad scheming, quarterback play was not as up to par, the offensive line was a disaster, and you put it all together, you make for what could have been one of the most disastrous seasons for a wide receiver core the New York Giants could have had arguably since 2017, when their entire wide receiver core got hurt and Eli Manning had nobody out there. But the 2021 New York Giants wide receiver core especially will always be defined as high expectations but very little results. And just going by the numbers, their star receiver Kenny Galladay in 2021, he played on only 13 games while having 37 receptions for 521 yards and did not score a touchdown. That was their $72 million wide receiver that they acquired in free agency last year. Kadarius Toney had 39 receptions for 420 yards and 0 touchdowns. That was their number 1 pick in the NFL Draft last year in 2021. Sterling Shepard. And Kadarius Toney only played in 10 games. Sterling Shepard, the longest tenured Giant. He only played in 7 games last year, and he accounted for 36 receptions for 366 yards and 1 touchdown. Darius Slayton had a great rookie year with Daniel Jones. Looked like something was brewing with a connection. He's really tailed off the past couple of years. He had 26 receptions for 334 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he ironically had the most touchdowns out of that group. And Saquon Barkley, the do-it-all running back. And Slayton only played in 13 games. And Saquon Barkley, who also played in 13 games last year, he accounted for 41 receptions, which was the most by any Giants receiver or running back on the team total last year, for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. You couple that together, the New York Giants didn't have any wide receiver / running back or tight end account for 45 receptions or get over 530 yards receiving. That is as abysmal as you can get for a team with so much talent but very little put on the field. And it's not all their fault. The scheming was horrendous. The offensive line was bad. Daniel Jones was erratic at times. So it didn't always go to plan for these guys. They weren't always put in the right positions to succeed. But at the same time, All these guys have a very bad injury history. None of these guys can find a way to stay on the field consistently, and that is the biggest question mark, not only for this Giants team, but especially for this Giants offense. Because I believe that Daniel Jones, with a better offensive line and better scheming, will be able to bounce back and have a little bit of a better season. And I think at least Saquon Barkley, coming off his second year since the ACL tear, will be able to put on a better season. But that wide receiver core might be the biggest key to if that offense is going to reach the type of potential that a lot of fans believe that it can. And that has a lot to do with these guys going out there, making the tough catches, making the catches in general, because this team has a lot of issues with drops. Golladay made some bad drops. Shepard had some drops when he played. Slayton is notorious with drops. Kadarius Toney had some drops issues. So these guys have got to go out there and be able to make the consistent catches and not drop the ball too much. But most importantly, these guys have to go out there and they have to stay on the field. That is the biggest question mark with this wide receiver core going into 2022 is will Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, and even if you want Darius Slayton, and if you want to lump Saquon Barkley in there too. Can these guys go out there and at least give this team 14, 15, 16, maybe even a full 17 games on the field and be able to produce at the level that we expect these guys to do? You have an improved offensive line. You have a different type of scheme that will be able to get the most out of all these players with Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka bringing in their offensive schemes. And it's really just about, can these wide receivers on this New York Giants football team be able to stay on the field consistently and produce to the level that we expect? That is for Kenny Golladay. You try to bring the back shoulder pass back into play for the New York Giants. You throw the ball downfield and you allow him to use his 6'4", 220-pound frame to go up there and pluck the ball out of the air. You try to get him on quick plays over the middle because Golladay is not a guy that is going to be able to create separation easily. He's a 50-50 guy that is going to be able to go up and get the ball. He's going to be able to break tackles when he catches the ball and be able to add some extra yardage after the catch. And when it comes to Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson, you get the ball to these guys in space. You let them go and create yards after the catch. You hit them with slants over the middle. You put them in the backfield. You line these guys up all over the place and let them do what they can do. Sterling Shepard, you let him just operate over the middle of the field, move the chains, be able to block efficiently on the outside when needed, and you just let him move the chains over the middle. Darius Slayton, you allow him to be that situational deep threat where you pass the ball to him a few times a game. He'll be able to stretch the field and get you those 30 to 40, maybe even 50-yard big plays to help you get down the field a lot easier. And Saquon Barkley, you don't just make this guy a running back only. You move him around all the field. Put him in the backfield, put him on the outside, put him in the slot, have him go down the field, have him maybe take a slant over the middle. You just let this guy go out there and use his ability to make the play all over the field. But the biggest question for the New York Giants in terms of their wide receiver core, and including Saquon Barkley too, is will these guys be able to go out there and consistently be able to play at least 15 to 17 games in a year? Because Kenny Golladay, the past couple of years, has not been able to stay healthy. Sterling Shepard has a history of not being able to play many games in a season. Darius Slayton has been banged up the past couple of years and has missed some games. Kadarius Toney, even back in his days in Florida, had a little bit of injury issues, as well as last year where he had trouble staying on the field. Even Wan'Dale Robinson, I believe, had a little bit of injury bugs, but with his small frame. The talent is there for this wide receiver core, including Saquon Barkley, to be able to go out there and make a difference and be able to score many points and have many guys out there that can put up the numbers to help make this offense pretty special. But it's going to be up to these guys to be able to go out there and get the job done, not drop too many passes, stay on the field consistently, not get hurt, try and keep these guys healthy the entire time, because we do not want to go into this year dealing with seeing Colin Johnson, last year Dante Pettis, John Ross, David Sills, Farrell Cooper. No disrespect to these guys. These guys are solid receivers for what they can do. But we paid Kenny Golladay to be on the field and be our number one receiver. We drafted Kadarius Toney in the first round to be that do-it-all type receiver. We drafted Wan'Dale Robinson to be able to be that gadget player and also be able to move around the field all over the place. We kept Sterling Shepard around this long to be able to be that dependable slot receiver that can move the chains. We have had Darius Slayton on this team to be that situational deep threat that can take the top off the defense. And we have Saquon Barkley to be that do-it-all running back that can get it done in the backfield and get it done either split wide or in the slot. These guys need to stay healthy because if we have the injury issues that we have had the past couple of years, especially last year, Daniel Jones is going to have trouble succeeding. Doesn't matter how good the offensive line is. It doesn't matter how good the scheming is. It's not going to be as good as it was before because these guys just can't stay on the field and stay healthy. So that is going to be the biggest key going into 2022. Can the Giants' wide receivers and Saquon Barkley stay on the field consistently, be able to not have the case of the dropsies, and be able to make the plays when they are there, when their numbers are called on? That is going to be the major key going into this team. With a better offensive line, with better scheming, there's no reason why Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Saquon Barkley, if you want to lump Daniel Bellinger in there as well, there's no reason why this offense cannot succeed with the players that they have on this team. It's only going to be a question of health. It's going to be a question of getting the job done, not dropping the ball too much. It's right there for these guys to succeed. The question is, will they be able to go out there and get the job done and help this New York Giants team exceed expectations that maybe a lot of fans have for this team going into the 2022 NFL season? So that's just my quick take on this New York Giants team and the wide receiver core lumped in with Saquon Barkley. If you like what you hear in this video, please hit the like button on the bottom. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Leave a comment below on what your expectations are for this wide receiver core going into 2020. And if you think they are going to make a big leap from what they did in 2021. And subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news and updates on the New York Football Giants. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy your Friday. And we'll see what this wide receiver core and Saquon Barkley can bring to the table this year. We expect a lot better. We hope these guys can remain healthy. And we believe that if these guys can get the job done and stay healthy and stay on the field, the New York Giants offense will be a lot better than many expected it to be. And we will have, going into 2022, a much better chance of possibly to compete for maybe even a playoff berth. We'll see. But the wide receiver core and Saquon Barkley have to stay healthy and they have to get the job done. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy your rest of your Friday. And let's go, New York Football Giants.